Ever wondered if self-help actually works? The audiobook, The Self-Help Skeptic, Critical Thinking for Personal Development, has your answers. Discover the science behind popular trends like the law of attraction and mindfulness, stripped of mystical claims. Learn to apply these concepts intelligently for real growth. Don't risk wasting time on ineffective methods or missing out on life-changing insights. Transform your approach to self-improvement and unlock your true potential with this essential guide. Before we go on, I invite you to download the free bundle, which contains the ebook version of this book and an executive summary of all the chapters with the key takeaways. Studies show that engaging with content through multiple formats significantly enhances learning and retention. Click on the first link in the description to claim your free bundle now and maximize your learning potential. Now it's free, but it won't be for long, so make sure to grab it while you can. Chapter 1, Law of Attraction. The law of attraction has captivated millions with its tantalizing promise. Your thoughts shape your reality. It's an idea that has spawned countless books, seminars, and even Hollywood films, all proclaiming that by simply thinking positively and visualizing your desires, you can manifest your dreams into existence. But is there any truth to this concept, or is it just another self-help fad dressed up in pseudo-scientific language? As we embark on our journey of critical thinking for personal development, it's fitting to start with this popular yet controversial idea. The law of attraction, in its most basic form, states that like attracts like. Positive thoughts attract positive outcomes, while negative thoughts bring about negative results. Proponents claim that by focusing intensely on what you want, be it wealth, love, or success, you can literally draw these things into your life through the power of your mind. At first glance, it's easy to see why this concept has such widespread appeal. Who wouldn't want to believe that simply by thinking about their heart's desires, they could make them materialize? It offers a sense of control in an often chaotic world and promises that anyone, regardless of their circumstances, can achieve their dreams through the power of thought alone. But let's take a step back and examine this idea through the lens of critical thinking. Is there any scientific basis for the law of attraction? Can our thoughts really alter the fabric of reality and bring about tangible changes in our lives? The short answer is no, at least not in the literal, mystical sense that many law of attraction gurus claim. There's no scientific evidence that thoughts emit vibrations that manipulate the universe to deliver our wishes. The idea that merely thinking about something can cause it to appear in your life without any action on your part is simply not supported by any reputable research. However, before we dismiss the law of attraction entirely, it's worth digging deeper. While the mystical explanations may not hold water, there are aspects of this concept that align with well-established psychological principles. By stripping away the pseudoscience and focusing on these core ideas, we can uncover some valuable insights about how our mindset influences our behavior and, ultimately, our outcomes in life. At its heart, the law of attraction is about focus and belief. When you strongly believe in a goal and consistently focus your attention on it, several psychological mechanisms come into play. First, there's the concept of selective attention. Our brains are constantly bombarded with an overwhelming amount of information, and we simply can't process it all. Instead, our minds filter out what seems irrelevant and highlight what aligns with our current focus and beliefs. This filtering system, known as the reticular activating system, RAS, plays a crucial role in shaping our perception of reality. When you're intensely focused on a goal, say, starting your own business, your RAS becomes primed to notice opportunities related to that goal. You might suddenly start seeing potential business ideas everywhere, noticing relevant articles, or overhearing conversations that spark inspiration. It's not that these opportunities weren't there before. You're just more attuned to noticing them now. This phenomenon explains why, when you buy a new car, you suddenly see that same model everywhere. Your brain is now primed to notice what was previously background noise. In the context of personal goals, this heightened awareness can lead to discovering opportunities you might have otherwise missed. Moreover, When you believe strongly in your ability to achieve a goal, you're more likely to take action towards it. This ties into the concept of self-efficacy, developed by psychologist Albert Bandura. Self-efficacy is the belief in one's ability to succeed in specific situations or accomplish a task. When you have high self-efficacy regarding a goal, you're more likely to persist in the face of challenges, put in more effort, and ultimately increase your chances of success. This is where visualization, a key practice in the law of attraction, can play a beneficial role. When you vividly imagine yourself succeeding, you're essentially rehearsing that success in your mind. This mental practice can boost your confidence and motivation, making you more likely to take the necessary actions to achieve your goal. Research in sports psychology has shown that athletes who use visualization techniques often perform better than those who don't. A famous study with basketball players found that those who mentally practiced free throws improved almost as much as those who physically practiced. While this doesn't mean visualization alone can replace actual practice, it does suggest that mental rehearsal can enhance performance and motivation. Another aspect of the law of attraction that has some basis in psychology is the power of positive thinking. Numerous studies have shown that optimists tend to be more successful in various areas of life, from academics to career to relationships. This isn't because their positive thoughts magically attract good things, but rather because optimists tend to be more resilient, persistent, and proactive in pursuing their goals. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that optimists were more likely to engage in problem-focused coping strategies when faced with challenges, while pessimists were more likely to disengage from their goals. This difference in approach often led to better outcomes for the optimists, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy of sorts. However, it's crucial to note that positive thinking alone isn't enough. The real power comes from combining a positive outlook with concrete action. This is where many interpretations of the law of attraction fall short. They overemphasize the power of thought at the expense of emphasizing the importance of consistent effort and strategic action. So, how can we take the psychologically sound aspects of the law of attraction and apply them in a practical, evidence-based way to improve our lives? Here are some strategies. 1. Define your intentions clearly. Instead of vague wishes, set specific measurable goals. Rather than, I want to be successful, try, I will increase my income by 20% within the next 12 months by acquiring new skills and taking on additional responsibilities at work. 2. Visualize success, mental rehearsal. Spend a few minutes each day vividly imagining yourself achieving your goal. Engage all your senses. What does success look, feel, and sound like? This practice can boost motivation and help you stay focused on your objectives. 3. Use affirmations wisely. Develop realistic, empowering statements related to your goals. Instead of, I am a millionaire, if you're far from it, try, I am capable of learning and applying smart financial strategies to increase my wealth. Repeat these affirmations regularly to reinforce your self-belief. Take consistent action. This is crucial. After setting your intention and visualizing success, outline specific steps you need to take to move towards your goal. Then, commit to taking action regularly. Even small steps add up over time. 5. Stay alert to opportunities. With your goal firmly in mind, pay attention to your environment. Look for resources, connections, or ideas that could help you progress. When you spot an opportunity, act on it promptly. 6. Cultivate a growth mindset. Believe in your ability to learn, grow, and overcome challenges. This mindset will help you persist when faced with setbacks and view failures as learning opportunities rather than permanent defeats. 7. Practice gratitude. Regularly acknowledging the good things in your life can boost your overall positivity and resilience. This positive outlook can help you maintain motivation and optimism as you work towards your goals. As you apply these strategies, it's important to maintain a balanced perspective. While a positive mindset and clear focus are powerful tools, they're not magical solutions. Success still requires effort, learning, and often a good deal of persistence in the face of challenges. Moreover, it's crucial to recognize that external factors and circumstances play a significant role in our lives. While we can influence many aspects of our reality through our thoughts and actions, we don't have total control over everything that happens to us. Acknowledging this can help prevent the feelings of guilt or inadequacy that sometimes arise when people believe they're not attracting what they want due to faulty thinking. In conclusion, while the mystical explanations behind the law of attraction don't stand up to scientific scrutiny, the core ideas of focused intention, positive expectation, and aligned action are psychologically sound. By understanding and applying these principles in a grounded, realistic way, you can indeed attract better outcomes in your life, not through cosmic forces, but through the very real power of your own mindset and actions. As we move forward in our exploration of critical thinking for personal development, we'll continue to examine popular concepts, stripping away the hype to uncover practical, evidence-based strategies for growth. In our next chapter, we'll tackle another prevalent idea in the self-help world, hustle culture. We'll explore the pros and cons of the work harder mentality and how it relates to the mindset principles we've discussed here. Are long hours and constant hustle the key to success, or is there a smarter way to achieve our goals? Let's find out. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to Grow to the Top and activate notifications to receive more self-improvement tips that will supercharge your growth. And make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends. It really helps the channel grow. Thank you for your support. Chapter 2, Hustle Culture. In today's fast-paced world, a new mantra has taken hold, echoing through social media feeds, motivational speeches, and entrepreneurial circles. Rise and grind. No days off. Sleep is for the weak. Welcome to the age of hustle culture, where constant work is not just encouraged, it's glorified. This pervasive mindset has captivated millions, promising that with enough effort, anyone can achieve extraordinary success. It's an alluring concept, offering a sense of control in an unpredictable world. After all, if hard work is the key to success, then surely working harder than everyone else is the fast track to achieving your dreams, right? But as we dive deeper into this chapter, we'll examine whether this relentless pursuit of productivity truly delivers on its promises. Is burning the candle at both ends really the secret to unlocking your potential? Or could this culture of constant hustle be leading us down a path that's unsustainable and potentially counterproductive? To understand the appeal of hustle culture, we need to look at its core tenets. At its heart, this mindset revolves around the belief that success is directly proportional to the amount of time and effort you invest. It's a simple, compelling equation. More hours worked equals more success achieved. This idea resonates with many because it suggests that success is within anyone's grasp, regardless of their background or circumstances. Can't afford an Ivy League education? No problem. Just outwork everyone else. Didn't start with connections in your industry? That's fine. Hustle hard enough, and you'll make your own way. Social media has amplified this message, with influencers and entrepreneurs showcasing their seemingly non-stop work routines. They post about 4 a.m. wake-up calls, back-to-back meetings, and late-night work sessions, all while juggling multiple side hustles. The message is clear. This is what it takes to make it big. And to be fair, there are undeniably positive aspects to the hustle mentality. A strong work ethic is indeed crucial for achieving ambitious goals. Being willing to put in effort, to tackle challenging tasks head-on, and to persist in the face of obstacles, these are all valuable traits that can contribute significantly to personal and professional growth. Moreover, the emphasis on taking initiative and being proactive is a powerful mindset shift. Instead of waiting for opportunities to fall into your lap, hustle culture encourages you to create your own chances. This can lead to innovative thinking, bold moves, and potentially breakthrough successes that might never have happened if you'd simply waited for the right time. Consistency, another hallmark of hustle culture, is also a key ingredient in achieving long-term goals. The idea that small, daily efforts can compound over time into significant achievements is both motivating and scientifically sound. Whether you're building a business, mastering a skill, or working towards any substantial goal, consistent dedication does indeed pay off. Lastly, the resilience fostered by a hustle mindset can be invaluable. In a world where setbacks and failures are inevitable, having the mental toughness to bounce back and keep pushing forward is a crucial asset. The never give up attitude promoted by hustle culture can help individuals persevere through challenges that might otherwise derail their progress. Given these positive aspects, it's no wonder that hustle culture has gained such a strong following. Who wouldn't want to believe that with enough hard work and determination, any goal is achievable? However, as we apply our critical thinking lens to this phenomenon, we start to see cracks in the foundation of nonstop hustle. While hard work is undoubtedly important, the assumption that more work is always better begins to fall apart under scrutiny. One of the key issues with extreme hustle culture is that it often ignores the concept of diminishing returns. In economics, this principle states that as you increase one factor of production, in this case, work hours, you'll eventually see a decrease in the additional output gained. In simpler terms, there comes a point where working more doesn't lead to proportionally more results, and may even lead to less. This isn't just theoretical. Numerous studies have shown that productivity doesn't increase linearly with hours worked. In fact, research indicates that after a certain point, often around 50 hours per week, productivity not only fails to increase, but actually begins to decline sharply. A Stanford study found that output falls off a cliff after 55 hours. Someone who puts in 70 hours produces nothing more with those extra 15 hours. Even worse, that same study found that those who work longer hours tend to make more mistakes, potentially negating any benefits of the extra time put in. This decline in productivity isn't just about diminishing returns, it's also about the very real toll that overwork takes on our minds and bodies. Constant work without adequate rest leads to fatigue, both mental and physical. This exhaustion doesn't just make us less efficient, it also impairs our decision-making abilities, reduces our creativity, and makes us more prone to errors. The irony here is clear. In our attempt to achieve more through constant hustle, we may actually be undermining our own success. By pushing ourselves to work longer and longer hours, we're not just producing less per hour, we're also increasing the likelihood of burnout, a state of chronic stress that can have severe consequences for both our health and our productivity. This brings us to another myth perpetuated by extreme hustle culture: the idea that rest is for the weak, or that sleep is a luxury we can't afford if we want to succeed. This notion flies in the face of a mountain of scientific evidence showing that adequate rest, and particularly sufficient sleep, is crucial for cognitive function, creativity, and overall productivity. During sleep, our brains consolidate memories, process information, and clear out toxins. It's not an exaggeration to say that sleep makes us smarter. Studies have shown that well-rested individuals perform better on cognitive tasks, have improved problem-solving abilities, and are more creative. By skimping on sleep in the name of hustle, we're actually handicapping our own performance. So if constant work isn't the answer, what is? This is where the concept of working smarter, not just harder, comes into play. It's about finding the sweet spot where effort and strategy combine to produce optimal results. One key aspect of working smarter is prioritization. Not all tasks are created equal, and spending time on low-value activities just to stay busy is a recipe for frustration and burnout. The Pareto principle, also known as the 80-20 rule, suggests that roughly 80% of results come from 20% of efforts. Identifying and focusing on those high-impact activities can dramatically increase your effectiveness without requiring more hours. Another crucial element is the strategic use of rest and recovery. Rather than viewing breaks as lost productivity, we should see them as investments in our future performance. Short breaks throughout the day can help maintain focus and prevent the kind of mental fatigue that leads to errors and reduced efficiency. Similarly, taking time off, whether it's evenings, weekends, or vacations, isn't just about enjoyment. It's about giving our minds and bodies the chance to recharge. leading to improved performance when we return to work. This balanced approach is supported by research on high achievers across various fields. While these individuals certainly work hard, they often do so in a more structured and intentional way than the 24/7 grind mentality would suggest. Many successful entrepreneurs, for instance, are known for their disciplined routines that include not just focused work time, but also periods for learning, reflection, and rest. So how can we apply these insights to create a more effective and sustainable approach to achievement? Here are some strategies to consider. First, prioritize your most important tasks. Start each day or week by identifying the activities that will have the biggest impact on your goals. Focus your energy on these high-value tasks when you're at your most alert and productive. This ensures that even if you can't do everything, you're making progress on what matters most. Time blocking can be a powerful tool in this regard. Set aside specific periods for focused, uninterrupted work on your priority tasks. During these blocks, eliminate distractions and give the task your full attention. This intense focus can often lead to better results in less time than trying to multitask or work through constant interruptions. Equally important is scheduling breaks and downtime. Just as you block out time for work, make sure to allocate time for rest and recovery. This might mean short breaks between work sessions, a firm cutoff time in the evenings, or ensuring you have at least one full day off each week. Knowing that you have this downtime coming can actually help you work more intensely during your on hours, secure in the knowledge that you'll have a chance to recharge. Developing consistent routines can also be incredibly beneficial. When certain productive behaviors become habitual, they require less willpower to maintain. This might mean starting each morning with a review of your goals and to-do list, or always tackling your most challenging task at a particular time of day when you know you're at your best. Regular reflection and adjustment are crucial for maintaining an effective hustle. Take time each week to evaluate your progress. Are you moving closer to your goals or just staying busy? This kind of honest assessment allows you to adjust your strategies as needed, ensuring that your efforts are always aligned with your objectives. It's also important to maintain your motivation over the long haul. Celebrating small wins along the way can help fuel your drive and give meaning to your hard work. Recognize and appreciate the progress you're making, even if you haven't yet reached your ultimate goal. Connecting your work to a larger purpose or set of values can also help sustain your motivation. Remind yourself regularly of why you're putting in this effort. Understanding the deeper reasons behind your hustle can make the hard work feel more worthwhile and can actually help reduce stress. One final note of caution: be wary of the comparison trap that often comes with hustle culture. Social media is full of people broadcasting their long hours and busy schedules, but remember that this isn't always an accurate reflection of reality or of true productivity. Focus on your own progress and well-being rather than trying to match someone else's highlight reel. In conclusion, while the drive and determination championed by hustle culture can be valuable assets in pursuing our goals, it's crucial to approach this mindset with a critical eye. Hard work and persistence are indeed key ingredients for success, but how we work matters just as much as how much we work. The most effective approach combines determination with mindfulness, a willingness to put in the effort, but also the wisdom to work strategically, rest adequately, and adjust course as needed. In other words, we need to hustle with our brains fully engaged, not just our bodies. As we move forward, it's worth considering how we can prepare ourselves mentally for this smarter approach to hustle. In our next chapter, we'll explore a technique that top performers across various fields have used to enhance their preparation and performance. It's a method that allows you to practice and improve without physically doing anything. A way to hustle in your mind before you hustle in reality. Intrigued? Let's dive into the power of mental rehearsal and how it can amplify your efforts in ways you might never have imagined. Chapter 3, Visualization. Close your eyes for a moment and picture yourself achieving your most cherished goal. What do you see? How does it feel? Can you hear the sounds of success surrounding you? This simple act of mental imagery is more powerful than you might think. It's a technique that has been used by top performers across various fields, from athletics to business, and it's a practice that holds intriguing potential for personal development. But what exactly is this technique, and why does it seem to work so well for so many people? As we delve into this chapter, we'll explore a mental tool that goes beyond mere daydreaming. It's a structured approach to using your imagination that can have tangible effects on your performance and your life. At its core, this practice involves creating vivid mental images of yourself, achieving specific outcomes, or performing tasks with excellence. It's like directing a movie in your mind, where you're both the star and the director. This isn't just idle fantasy, though. When done correctly, it's a form of mental rehearsal that can prepare you for real-world success. The concept has gained popularity in both self-help circles and sports psychology. In self-help, it's often presented as a way to manifest your desires, as if thinking about something hard enough will magically make it appear. In sports and performance coaching, it's used more pragmatically as a way to prepare for competitions or challenging tasks. But let's be clear, this isn't about magical thinking. The power of this technique doesn't lie in some mystical ability to bend reality to your will simply by imagining it. Instead, its effectiveness comes from how it prepares and conditions your mind to recognize and act on opportunities in the real world. So how does this mental practice actually work? The answer lies in some fascinating aspects of how our brains function. When you vividly imagine an activity, your brain doesn't entirely distinguish between the imagined experience and a real one. Neural pathways associated with the imagined action are activated, similar to what happens when you physically perform the action. This mental simulation serves as a kind of training session for your brain. By repeatedly imagining yourself performing a task or achieving a goal, you're essentially programming your mind with a blueprint for success. This can improve your memory of the required steps and enhance your skill in executing them, even if you haven't physically practiced as much. Another key benefit of this practice is its ability to build confidence. When you regularly visualize yourself succeeding, you're creating a sense of familiarity with the situation. This can significantly reduce anxiety when you face the real event. After all, in your mind, you've already done this successfully many times. The actual experience feels more manageable because it's no longer entirely new or unknown. This technique also serves to keep your goals salient in your mind. By regularly envisioning your desired outcome, you maintain focus and motivation. This consistent mental engagement with your goals can help prime your brain to notice relevant opportunities or solutions in your day-to-day life. It's similar to how, when you're thinking about buying a certain car, you suddenly start noticing that model everywhere. Your brain becomes attuned to what's important to you. Moreover, the emotional engagement involved in this practice can be a powerful motivator. When you vividly imagine achieving your goal, you're not just seeing it, you're feeling it. You might experience a surge of excitement, pride, or joy. These positive emotions associated with your imagined success can reinforce your drive to pursue the goal in reality. You're essentially giving yourself a taste of the emotional reward, which can fuel your efforts to make it happen. But not all mental imagery practices are created equal. There are different approaches, each with its own benefits and applications. Understanding these can help you use this technique more effectively in your own life. One common approach is outcome visualization. This involves picturing the end result you're aiming for. You might imagine yourself crossing a finish line, receiving an award, or achieving a personal milestone. This type of visualization can be highly motivating and helps clarify exactly what you're working towards. It's about seeing the destination clearly in your mind. Another approach is process visualization. Instead of focusing solely on the end result, you imagine yourself going through all the steps needed to reach your goal. A runner might visualize their entire race, from the starting gun to the finish line, including details like their pace, breathing, and how they handle difficult stretches. This type of visualization helps with skill execution and mental preparedness. It's about rehearsing the journey, not just the destination. There's also creative visualization, often used in personal development contexts. Here, you create a detailed mental scene of your ideal future. This might include your dream job, lifestyle, or personal achievements. The key is to make it as immersive as possible, engaging all your senses to make the imagined scenario feel real and attainable. For best results, it's often beneficial to combine these approaches. Visualize both the outcome you desire and the process of getting there. This balanced approach ensures you stay motivated by the end goal while also mentally preparing for the work required to achieve it. But does this mental practice actually work, or is it just a feel-good exercise with no real impact? Let's look at what the research says. Scientific studies, particularly in the field of sports psychology, have consistently shown the effectiveness of visualization techniques. Numerous experiments with athletes have demonstrated that those who incorporate mental imagery into their training regimen often show greater improvement in their skills compared to those who rely on physical practice alone. One classic study involved basketball players and free throws. 3 groups were formed, one that practiced free throws physically, one that only visualized making free throws, and a control group that did neither. Surprisingly, the group that only used visualization showed almost as much improvement as the group that practiced physically. Both significantly outperformed the control group. This doesn't mean that mental practice can entirely replace physical practice, but it does suggest that visualization can be a powerful complement to actual training. It's particularly useful in situations where physical practice isn't always possible or practical. Neuroscience adds further credibility to the power of visualization. Brain imaging studies have shown that when people visualize an action, it activates many of the same brain regions involved in actually performing that action. This lends support to the idea that mental rehearsal can strengthen the neural pathways associated with a particular skill or behavior. The benefits of visualization extend beyond sports. In academic settings, students who visualized themselves succeeding in their studies often reported increased motivation and felt more prepared for exams. In professional contexts, individuals who regularly visualized achieving their career goals tended to show more proactive behavior in pursuing those goals. It's worth noting that a significant majority of Olympic athletes report using visualization techniques as part of their training. Many credit these mental practices with improving their concentration and performance under pressure. When such a high percentage of top performers in any field consistently use a particular technique, it's worth paying attention to. However, it's crucial to approach visualization with a critical eye. While the evidence supporting its effectiveness is strong, it's not a magic solution. Research also cautions that visualization is most effective when paired with actual effort and action. Simply daydreaming about success without putting in the work can lead to complacency and disappointment. So, how can you harness the power of visualization effectively in your own life? Here are some strategies to consider. First, find a quiet moment. Set aside a few minutes each day in a calm, distraction-free environment. This could be right after waking up, during a lunch break, or before going to bed. The key is to choose a time when you can focus without interruptions. When you visualize, engage all your senses. Don't just see your goal in your mind's eye. Hear it, feel it, even smell it if relevant. The more vivid and immersive your mental image, the more impactful it can be. If you're visualizing giving a successful presentation, for instance, imagine the feel of the paper in your hands, the sound of your confident voice, the encouraging nods from your audience. Stay positive but realistic in your visualizations. While it's important to imagine yourself succeeding, don't shy away from including potential challenges. Visualize yourself handling difficult situations smoothly. If you're preparing for a job interview, for example, imagine answering tough questions with poise. This mental rehearsal of overcoming obstacles can build resilience and prepare you for real-world challenges. It's crucial to combine visualization with concrete planning. After each visualization session, take a moment to consider your next actionable step. If you've just visualized acing a test, your next step might be to create a study schedule or review specific topics. This bridges the gap between your mental imagery and real-world action, ensuring that visualization enhances rather than replaces actual effort. Frequency and repetition are key. Try to practice visualization daily or at least several times a week. Consistency helps reinforce the mental pathways you're creating. Keep your visualizations fairly consistent to build familiarity, but don't be afraid to refine details as your goals evolve or as you gain more clarity on what you want. While visualization can be a powerful tool, it's important to be aware of potential pitfalls. One common mistake is using visualization as a substitute for actual work. Remember, this technique is meant to enhance your performance and motivation, not replace real effort. If you find yourself spending more time daydreaming than doing, it's time to reassess your approach. Another risk is overconfidence. Some research suggests that indulging in positive fantasies without considering real-world obstacles can actually lead to less effort and poorer outcomes. To counter this, use a technique called mental contrasting. After visualizing your desired outcome, take time to imagine potential obstacles and plan how you'll overcome them. This balanced approach keeps you motivated while also preparing you for challenges. It's also important to keep your visualizations personal and achievable. While it's fine to have big dreams, focusing on wildly unrealistic scenarios in your visualization practice can be counterproductive. Your subconscious mind might dismiss these as too far-fetched, reducing the motivational impact. Instead, focus on goals that are ambitious yet believable with effort. This maintains the constructive motivation that effective visualization can provide. Lastly, ensure your visualizations focus on you taking action rather than imagining success simply happening to you. This reinforces an internal locus of control, the belief that you have the power to influence your outcomes through your own efforts. In essence, visualization is like a mental workshop where you train your mind and prepare yourself for success. When combined with actual practice and effort, it can significantly improve your skills, boost your confidence, and enhance your ability to achieve your goals. As we conclude this chapter, consider how you might incorporate visualization into your own personal development journey. Whether you're aiming for career advancement, personal growth, or mastering a new skill, this mental technique offers a powerful way to align your thoughts and actions with your desired outcomes. But visualization is just one tool in the mental toolkit of personal development. In our next chapter, we'll explore another technique that complements visualization beautifully. Where visualization uses imagery to program positive outcomes, this next approach harnesses the power of language itself. It's a practice that many swear by, yet others dismiss as mere positive thinking. What if there was more to it? A way to use words not just to describe your reality, but to shape it. Let's find out as we delve into the intriguing world of self-talk and its surprising effects on our minds and lives. Chapter 4, Affirmations. Have you ever caught yourself in a moment of self-doubt, whispering words of encouragement to boost your confidence? Or perhaps you've stood in front of a mirror, repeating positive phrases to psych yourself up for a challenging day ahead. If so, you've dabbled in a practice that has intrigued psychologists, self-help gurus, and skeptics alike for decades. This practice, often dismissed as New Age fluff or embraced as a life-changing ritual, involves the deliberate use of positive statements aimed at influencing one's mindset and behavior. But what exactly are these statements, and why do they hold such a polarizing place in personal development circles? At first glance, the idea of talking to yourself in the mirror might seem a bit silly. After all, how could simply repeating phrases like, "I am confident," or "I can handle any challenge," actually make a difference in your life? Yet, this practice has a devoted following, with countless individuals swearing by its effectiveness in boosting their self-esteem, motivation, and overall well-being. To understand why this technique has gained such traction, we need to delve into the psychology of self-talk and its profound impact on our mindset. Each of us has an internal monologue, a constant stream of thoughts that narrates our experiences and shapes our perceptions of the world and ourselves. This inner voice can be our greatest cheerleader or our harshest critic, often without us even realizing its influence. The power of this internal dialogue lies in its ability to shape our beliefs, which in turn influence our actions and ultimately our results. It's a feedback loop that can either propel us forward or hold us back. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough or that you can't achieve your goals, you're likely to feel demotivated and act in ways that reinforce those negative beliefs. Conversely, if your self-talk is predominantly positive and encouraging, you're more likely to approach challenges with confidence and persistence. This is where the practice we're exploring comes into play. By consciously choosing and repeating positive statements about ourselves and our abilities, we aim to interrupt negative thought patterns and gradually reshape our self-perception. It's an attempt to harness the power of our internal dialogue for our benefit, rather than letting it run unchecked and potentially sabotage our efforts. The theoretical underpinning of this practice draws from principles of cognitive psychology, particularly the idea that our thoughts significantly influence our emotions and behaviors. By deliberately introducing positive thoughts through these statements, the theory suggests we can create a ripple effect that extends to our feelings and actions. Moreover, this practice taps into the concept of self-identity. The things we repeatedly say about ourselves can, over time, become part of how we define ourselves. By consistently affirming positive traits or desired outcomes, we're essentially trying to shape our self-image in a beneficial way. But does it actually work, or is it just a feel-good exercise with no real impact? To answer this, we need to turn to scientific research, which offers a nuanced perspective on the effectiveness of this practice. Psychological studies have indeed found some benefits to this technique, particularly when it's used correctly. For instance, research on self-affirmation theory has shown that reflecting on one's important values can reduce stress and improve problem-solving abilities under pressure. In one experiment, participants who engaged in a brief exercise affirming their core values performed better on a challenging task compared to those who didn't, suggesting that this practice can indeed bolster confidence and cognitive performance in stressful situations. Neuroscience adds another layer of intrigue to these findings. Brain imaging studies have revealed that when individuals engage in positive self-talk, it activates regions in the brain associated with reward and self-processing. This neurological response might explain why people often report feeling more positive and resilient after practicing these affirmative statements. However, it's crucial to note that not all research paints a universally rosy picture. The effectiveness of this technique appears to depend significantly on how it's implemented and the individual's starting point. For instance, studies have found that overly positive statements can actually backfire for people with very low self-esteem. If there's too big a gap between the affirmation and the person's current self-belief, it can create internal conflict and anxiety rather than confidence. This brings us to a critical point. The wording and believability of these statements matter enormously. Generic, overly grandiose affirmations often fall flat or even have negative effects. The key seems to be in crafting statements that are positive yet realistic, specific to your situation, and genuinely meaningful to you. For example, if you're working on building confidence in public speaking, an affirmation like, "I am the world's greatest orator," might feel so far from your current reality that your mind immediately rejects it. A more effective approach might be something like, "I am continuously improving my public speaking skills and becoming more confident with each presentation." The tense in which these statements are phrased also plays a role. They're typically worded in the present tense, as if the desired state or trait is already true. This isn't about denying reality, but about directing your focus toward the positive outcome you're working towards. It's the difference between saying, "I will try not to be nervous," and "I am calm and composed." Another crucial factor is the emotional engagement and consistency with which you practice. Mumbling an affirmation half-heartedly once in a while is unlikely to have much impact. The power of this technique lies in repetition and genuine emotional involvement. When you say your chosen statement, it's important to really focus on its meaning and to imagine it as true. But how exactly do you put this into practice in a way that's effective and grounded in reality? The first step is to identify areas where your self-talk tends to be negative. We all have these weak spots, situations or aspects of ourselves where our inner critic is particularly vocal. These are prime targets for positive affirmations. Once you've identified an area to work on, craft a statement that addresses it positively. Keep it short, specific, and in the first person. If you find it difficult to believe a strongly positive statement about yourself, try using phrases like, "I am becoming," or "I am developing." This acknowledges that change is a process and can feel more authentic. Incorporating these statements into your daily routine is key to their effectiveness. Many people find it helpful to practice them in the morning as part of their getting ready routine or at night before bed. The goal is to make it a consistent habit, much like brushing your teeth. When you say your chosen statement, don't just recite it mechanically. Take a moment to really absorb its meaning. Some people find it helpful to say it while looking in the mirror, as this engages more senses and can make the experience more impactful. The aim is to truly internalize the message, to feel its truth even if it's not yet fully realized in your life. You can also enhance the impact by combining your verbal affirmation with visualization. For instance, if your statement is about being a confident public speaker, you might visualize yourself giving a successful presentation as you say the words. This multisensory approach can reinforce the message more powerfully. For those who feel awkward speaking affirmations aloud, writing them down can be an effective alternative. The act of writing can slow down your thoughts and allow the message to sink in differently. Some people find that keeping an affirmation journal where they write their chosen statements regularly helps to reinforce the practice. As with any self-improvement technique, it's important to approach this practice with a critical eye. Regularly evaluate the impact of your chosen statements. Do you notice a positive shift in your mood or attitude when you say them? Over time, do you see changes in your behavior or outlook? If not, it might be time to adjust the wording or choose a different focus. Remember, these positive statements are not magic spells that instantly change reality. They're tools to support actual change in your life. If you're affirming that you're becoming healthier, it's crucial to also take tangible steps towards a healthier lifestyle. The affirmation can help motivate you and reinforce your efforts, but it can't replace action. Honesty with yourself is paramount in this practice. While the goal is to be positive, it's equally important to be realistic. Using affirmations to deny or ignore real problems isn't helpful. Instead, frame your statements in a way that acknowledges challenges while affirming your ability to overcome them. For instance, rather than saying, "Everything in my life is perfect" when facing difficulties, you might say, "I have the strength and resources to handle life's challenges." As you grow and change, your affirmations should evolve too. What feels challenging and aspirational today might become easy and routine in the future. When an affirmation starts to feel too comfortable or no longer relevant, it's time to set your sights on new goals and craft new statements to support them. In essence, this practice of positive self-talk is like training for your mindset. Just as an athlete trains their body for peak performance, you're training your mind to support and encourage you rather than undermine your efforts. It's about learning to be your own best coach instead of your harshest critic. The real power of this technique lies not in the words themselves, but in how they can gradually shift your attitude, boost your confidence, and ultimately influence your actions and habits. By consistently reinforcing positive beliefs about yourself, you create a foundation for real change in your life. As we conclude this exploration of affirmations, it's worth reflecting on how this practice fits into the broader landscape of personal development. We've seen how consciously choosing the words we say to ourselves can impact our mindset and behavior. But what about all the other thoughts that flood our minds daily? The worries, judgments, and distractions that often seem beyond our control. In our next chapter, we'll delve into a practice that takes a different approach to managing our mental landscape. While affirmations focus on what we say to ourselves, this next technique is about how we relate to all of our thoughts, positive, negative, and everything in between. It's a method that has gained immense popularity in recent years, promising to bring clarity, calm, and improved focus to our often chaotic mental lives. But does it live up to the hype? And how can we approach it with the same critical thinking we've applied to other self-help strategies? Prepare to explore a practice that might just revolutionize your relationship with your own mind. Chapter 5, Mindfulness. In our fast-paced, constantly connected world, there's a practice that's gained immense popularity in recent years. It's been hailed as a panacea for modern ills, from stress and anxiety to lack of focus and even physical ailments. This technique has found its way into corporate boardrooms, school classrooms, and therapy sessions. It's been the subject of countless books, apps, and wellness programs. But what exactly is this practice, and does it truly live up to the hype? At its core, this practice is about a particular way of paying attention. It's about being fully present in the moment, aware of your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. It's a state of active, open attention to the present. But achieving this state is often easier said than done, especially in our distraction-filled world. The appeal of this practice in self-help circles is clear. In an age where our attention is constantly pulled in multiple directions, where stress seems to be a constant companion, and where we're often more connected to our devices than to our own inner experiences, the promise of inner calm and improved focus is incredibly attractive. Who wouldn't want a technique that could help them handle anxiety better, improve their productivity, and enhance their overall well-being? But as with any popular self-improvement technique, it's important to approach this practice with a critical eye. Is it really the cure-all that some proponents claim it to be? Or is it just another passing fad in the ever-changing landscape of personal development? To understand this practice better, let's delve into how it actually works. At its heart, it's about training your attention. Think of it as a workout for your mind. Just as you might go to the gym to strengthen your muscles, this practice involves exercises to strengthen your ability to focus and maintain awareness. One of the most common forms of this practice involves focusing on a simple anchor, like your breath. You simply sit quietly and pay attention to the sensation of breathing. Sounds easy, right? But here's the catch. Your mind will wander. It might drift to thoughts about work, worries about the future, or memories from the past. The key is to notice when your mind has wandered and gently bring your attention back to your breath. This act of noticing and returning is the mental equivalent of a bicep curl. Each time you do it, you're building your attention muscle. But this practice isn't just about improving focus. It also has profound implications for how we handle our emotions. By training ourselves to observe our thoughts and feelings without immediately reacting to them, we can create a space between stimulus and response. This pause can be incredibly powerful. Instead of automatically snapping in anger when someone cuts you off in traffic, or spiraling into anxiety when faced with a challenge, you learn to observe these reactions as they arise. Oh, there's anger, or I notice I'm feeling anxious. This slight shift in perspective can prevent knee-jerk reactions and allow for more thoughtful responses. Another key aspect of this practice is acceptance. It encourages a non-judgmental stance towards our experiences. Instead of criticizing yourself for feeling anxious or sad, you simply notice these feelings without trying to change them. Paradoxically, this acceptance often leads to a reduction in the intensity of difficult emotions. There's a profound relief in acknowledging it's okay to feel this way, rather than fighting against your current experience. The benefits of this practice extend beyond emotional regulation. Being fully present can enhance our enjoyment of positive experiences and improve our performance in various activities. When you're fully engaged in the present moment, you're more likely to notice subtle details, appreciate sensory experiences more fully, and catch nuances that you might otherwise miss when your mind is elsewhere. But does science support these claims, or is this all just subjective experience and wishful thinking? Fortunately, this practice has been the subject of extensive scientific research, particularly over the past few decades. Numerous clinical studies have shown that regular engagement in this practice can lead to significant reductions in symptoms of stress, anxiety, and even mild depression. One landmark review of research found that people who participated in an 8-week program centered on this practice reported less stress and more feelings of well-being compared to control groups. Perhaps even more intriguing are the findings from neuroscience. Brain imaging studies have revealed that regular practitioners of this technique show physical changes in their brains. Areas associated with attention, memory, and emotional regulation, such as the prefrontal cortex and hippocampus, tend to become more active or even grow in volume after weeks or months of consistent practice. At the same time, the amygdala, often called the brain's fear center, shows reduced activity, correlating with lower levels of anxiety and stress. The benefits aren't limited to mental health. Studies have also linked this practice to improvements in physical health markers, such as lower blood pressure and enhanced immune function. While these findings are promising, it's important to note that we're primarily focusing on the mental and behavioral benefits in this discussion. Research has also shown that this practice can enhance cognitive function and performance. In one study, office workers who engaged in short daily sessions of this practice showed improved ability to concentrate on tasks and performed better on tests requiring focus compared to a control group. However, it's crucial to maintain a balanced perspective. While the evidence for the benefits of this practice is strong, it's not a magic bullet. Some studies have found that it's about as effective as other well-established interventions for stress management and mental health. This suggests that while it's a valuable tool, it's not necessarily superior to all other approaches. So, how can you incorporate this practice into your daily life? There are several techniques you can try, ranging from formal meditation sessions to simple exercises you can do throughout your day. One of the most fundamental practices is a simple breathing meditation. Find a quiet place to sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus your attention on your breath. Notice the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. When your mind wanders, and it will, gently bring your attention back to your breath. Start with just 5 to 10 minutes a day, and gradually increase the duration as you become more comfortable with the practice. Another technique is the body scan. Lie down or sit comfortably and slowly move your attention through your body, starting from your toes and moving up to the top of your head. Notice any sensations in each part of your body without trying to change them. This practice helps develop bodily awareness and can be particularly relaxing. You can also bring this practice into your everyday activities. Choose a routine task. It could be brushing your teeth, washing dishes, or walking to work, and try to do it with full attention. Engage all your senses. Notice the sights, sounds, smells, and physical sensations involved in the activity. When your mind wanders, gently bring it back to the task at hand. This technique helps integrate the practice into your daily life. For those who find their minds particularly busy, a technique called labeling thoughts can be helpful. As thoughts arise during your practice, briefly note them with a simple label like thinking, planning, or worrying, and then let them go. This can help create some distance from your thoughts and reduce their power to pull you away from the present moment. Lastly, consider taking short mindfulness breaks throughout your day. Set a reminder on your phone or computer to take a minute every couple of hours to check in with yourself. Take a few deep breaths, notice how you're feeling, and bring your attention to the present moment. These brief pauses can help reset your focus and reduce accumulated stress. As you begin to explore this practice, it's important to be aware of some common challenges. Many beginners find that their minds wander constantly, leading them to feel like they're bad at it. Remember, noticing that your mind has wandered is an integral part of the practice. Each time you notice and bring your attention back, you're strengthening your ability to be present. Impatience is another common hurdle. You might not feel dramatically calmer or more focused after your first few sessions. This is normal. Think of it like physical exercise. You wouldn't expect to see significant changes in your fitness after just a couple of workouts. Consistency is key. Small, regular practice sessions will yield more benefit than occasional long sessions. Some people find the practice boring or feel restless when trying to sit quietly. If this is the case for you, try different forms of the practice. Mindful walking, for instance, might be more engaging if you struggle with sitting still. The key is to find a form of the practice that resonates with you. It's also worth noting that as you become more aware of your inner experience, you might notice emotions or thoughts that you've been ignoring. This can sometimes be uncomfortable. If you find intense emotions arising, it's okay to take a break or seek support from a mental health professional if needed. As we approach this practice with a critical thinking mindset, it's important to avoid falling into the trap of seeing it as a cure-all. While it can be highly beneficial, it's not a replacement for other important aspects of mental and physical health care. If you're dealing with severe anxiety or depression, for instance, this practice can be a helpful complement to therapy or medication, but it's not a substitute for professional treatment. To truly assess its value for yourself, consider measuring your progress. Before you start a regular practice, rate your stress levels, ability to focus, or overall well-being on a scale. After a month of consistent practice, rate yourself again. This objective approach can help you determine if you're experiencing tangible benefits. It's also helpful to reflect on specific situations where you find this practice most useful. Are you better able to handle stress at work? Do you find yourself less reactive in personal relationships? Understanding where and how it's benefiting you can help you tailor your practice for maximum effect. In conclusion, this practice of mindful awareness is a proven, practical method for enhancing mental well-being and performance. By training your attention and cultivating a sense of present moment awareness, you can reduce stress, improve focus, and develop greater emotional resilience. While it's not a magic solution to all of life's problems, consistent practice can yield significant benefits over time. As we move forward in our exploration of critical thinking for personal development, we'll turn our attention to another powerful concept that can reshape how we approach challenges and personal growth. While the practice we've just explored helps us accept and observe our present experience, our next topic focuses on how we view our potential for change and improvement. It's a mindset shift that has revolutionized fields from education to business, and it might just change how you see your own capabilities. Are you ready to discover a perspective that could unlock your potential in ways you never imagined? Chapter 6, Growth Mindset. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to thrive in the face of challenges while others crumble? Why do certain individuals persistently pursue their goals, undeterred by setbacks, while others give up at the first sign of difficulty? The answer might lie not in innate talent or intelligence, but in a powerful belief system that has been revolutionizing our understanding of human potential. This belief system, which has taken the worlds of education, business, and personal development by storm, is based on a simple yet profound idea that our abilities are not set in stone, but can be developed and improved over time. It's a perspective that challenges the notion of fixed talent and instead emphasizes the power of effort, learning, and persistence. But what exactly is this mindset, and why has it gained such traction in recent years? To understand its appeal and potential impact, we need to delve into the psychology behind it and examine the evidence supporting its effectiveness. At its core, this mindset is about how we view our own abilities and potential. It's the belief that our talents and intelligence are not static traits that we're born with, but rather qualities that can be cultivated through dedication and hard work. This stands in stark contrast to what we might call a fixed mindset, which assumes that our abilities are innate and unchangeable. The implications of these two perspectives are profound. Someone with a fixed mindset might say, "I'm just not good at math," and avoid mathematical challenges altogether. In contrast, a person with this growth-oriented mindset would approach the same situation thinking, "Math is challenging for me right now, but I can improve if I put in the effort and use effective strategies." This difference in outlook affects far more than just how we approach academic subjects. It influences how we handle challenges, respond to failure, view effort, and even how we interact with others. In essence, it shapes our entire approach to learning and personal development. But why does mindset matter so much? The answer lies in how it influences our behaviors and decisions, especially when faced with difficulties. When we believe that our abilities can grow, we're more likely to embrace challenges as opportunities to learn rather than threats to our self-image. We see effort not as a sign of inadequacy, but as the path to mastery. Failure becomes not a judgment on our worth, but valuable feedback that can guide our improvement. Consider how this plays out in real life. When confronted with a difficult task, someone with a fixed mindset might think, "I'm not smart enough to figure this out," and give up. But a person with a growth mindset would approach the same challenge thinking, "This is hard, but that means I'm learning. What strategies can I try to solve this problem?" This mindset also affects how we deal with failure. In a fixed mindset, failure is seen as evidence of lack of ability. It's devastating because it seems to confirm our worst fears about our limitations. But in a growth mindset, failure is reframed as a necessary part of the learning process. It's not "I failed, so I'm a failure," but rather "I failed, so what can I learn from this to do better next time?" The concept of effort also takes on a different meaning in each mindset. Those with a fixed mindset often see the need for effort as proof that they lack natural talent. They might think, "If I were really smart, this would be easy for me." In contrast, those with a growth mindset view effort positively. They understand that even geniuses have to work hard to achieve their potential. Effort is not something to be ashamed of, but something to be proud of. It's the very thing that makes us grow. Another key difference lies in how these mindsets approach feedback and criticism. Those with a fixed mindset tend to take criticism personally, seeing it as an attack on their abilities. They might become defensive or discouraged. But individuals with a growth mindset are more likely to welcome constructive feedback. They see it as valuable information that can help them improve rather than as a judgment of their worth. In essence, mindset influences whether we stagnate or grow when faced with life's inevitable challenges and learning opportunities. It determines whether we shy away from difficulty or lean into it, whether we give up in the face of setbacks or persevere. But is there any scientific evidence to support these ideas, or is this just another feel-good theory? Fortunately, the concept of growth mindset has been the subject of extensive research, particularly in educational settings. Carol Dweck, the psychologist who pioneered this field of study, conducted numerous experiments that demonstrated the power of mindset. In one seminal study, she and her colleagues worked with elementary school students, praising some for their intelligence and others for their effort after completing a task. The results were striking. Students praised for their intelligence, reinforcing a fixed mindset, tended to choose easier tasks in the future, wanting to keep looking smart. In contrast, those praised for their effort, encouraging a growth mindset, were more likely to choose more challenging problems, seeing them as opportunities to learn. This initial research has been followed by numerous studies across various age groups and settings. One particularly compelling piece of evidence comes from a large-scale study conducted in 2019, known as the National Study of Learning Mindsets. This study involved over 12,000 ninth-grade students across the United States. Some students were given a brief intervention teaching growth mindset principles, while others were not. The results were impressive. Students who received the mindset intervention showed improved grades, especially those who had been struggling academically. They were also more likely to take on challenging math courses in the following year. This demonstrates that even a relatively small intervention can shift attitudes and yield measurable academic improvements. The impact of growth mindset extends beyond the classroom. Research in workplace settings has found that companies fostering a growth mindset culture tend to have employees who are more empowered, committed to learning, and innovative. These employees are more likely to take initiative, collaborate effectively, and adapt to changes in their industry. However, it's important to approach these findings with a critical eye. Not all studies show dramatic effects, and some critics argue that the impact of growth mindset interventions can be modest. Meta-analyses, studies that combine and analyze results from multiple research papers, generally find that teaching a growth mindset has a positive but sometimes small effect on achievement. This nuanced view is important. It suggests that while a growth mindset is a valuable tool for personal development, it's not a magic solution to all challenges. Other factors, such as the quality of instruction, available resources, and individual circumstances, also play crucial roles in learning and achievement. So, how can we cultivate this growth-oriented mindset in our own lives? The first step is awareness. Start by paying attention to your thoughts and reactions, especially when faced with challenges or setbacks. Do you catch yourself thinking things like, "I'm just not good at this," or "I'll never be able to learn this"? These are signs of a fixed mindset creeping in. One simple but powerful technique is to add the word "yet" to these fixed mindset statements. "I'm not good at this" becomes "I'm not good at this yet." This small linguistic shift keeps the door open for improvement and reminds you that your current abilities are not your final abilities. Embracing challenges is another key aspect of developing a growth mindset. Try to regularly take on tasks that are slightly outside your comfort zone. When you do this, remind yourself that the goal is to learn, not to be perfect right away. This approach normalizes struggle as a part of the growth process. Keeping a learning journal can be an effective way to reinforce a growth mindset. After working on a skill or toward a goal, write down what strategies you used, what worked well, and what didn't. If you succeeded, note the effort and methods that led to your success, not just your innate talents. If you face setbacks, analyze what you could do differently next time. This practice builds the mindset that improvement comes from effort and strategy, not just fixed ability. Seeking feedback, though sometimes uncomfortable, is crucial for growth. Challenge yourself to ask for input from mentors, peers, or teachers on areas you want to improve. Remember, constructive criticism is not an attack on your worth, but valuable information to help you get better. It's also important to celebrate growth, not just achievements. When you notice even small improvements, perhaps you spoke up more in a meeting or your stamina increased slightly during exercise, acknowledge that progress. Rewarding yourself for improvement, not just end results, helps internalize the growth mindset. Creating an environment that supports your growth mindset is equally important. Surround yourself, as much as possible, with people who encourage learning and effort. Seek out communities, whether online or in person, where people share their progress and strategies, not just their accomplishments. If you're in a position to influence others, as a parent, teacher, or manager, reflect on how you give praise and react to failures. Try to encourage effort and strategy rather than innate talent. Saying, "I really admire how you tried different approaches to solve that problem," fosters a growth mindset more effectively than, "You're so smart." Understanding the science behind learning can also reinforce your belief in growth. Learn about neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new neural connections throughout life. Knowing that your brain physically changes and grows when you learn new skills can make the concept of a growth mindset feel more tangible and believable. However, it's crucial to avoid some common misconceptions about the growth mindset. It doesn't mean that everyone is equally capable in every area or that you can become an expert in anything overnight. It acknowledges that people have different starting points and may progress at different rates, but emphasizes that everyone can improve from wherever they are. It's also not enough to simply declare, "I have a growth mindset." The real test is in your actions and responses to challenges. Someone might claim to believe in growth, but still consistently avoid difficult tasks or get defensive when receiving feedback. The true mindset shows in these moments of choice. Remember that having a growth mindset doesn't mean you'll never feel frustrated or discouraged. It's normal to feel upset by setbacks. The difference is that even when you feel discouraged, you still believe that you can improve with time and effort. You allow yourself to feel the frustration, then return to the task with renewed determination. Lastly, while adopting a growth mindset is powerful, it's important to recognize external factors as well. The quality of instruction, available resources, and systemic issues can all impact one's ability to learn and achieve. A critical thinking approach means applying the growth mindset to what you can control, your effort and strategies, while also acknowledging and, where possible, addressing external barriers. In conclusion, embracing a growth mindset is like giving yourself permission to learn and evolve continually. It transforms "I can't" into "I can't yet, but I will eventually." This outlook nurtures resilience, turning setbacks into valuable learning experiences rather than insurmountable obstacles. As we close this chapter, consider how this mindset might change your approach to personal development. With a growth-oriented perspective, you're likely to set more ambitious goals and seek out more effective strategies for achieving them. But how exactly do you translate this mindset into concrete plans and objectives? In our next chapter, we'll explore a technique that complements the growth mindset perfectly. It's a method for turning your newfound belief in growth into clear, actionable steps. We'll delve into a practice that top performers across various fields use to channel their ambitions into reality. Are you ready to discover how to set goals that not only challenge you, but also leverage your full potential for growth? Let's find out how to turn your growth mindset into tangible progress. Chapter 7, Goal Setting. Have you ever found yourself drifting through life, unsure of where you're headed or what you truly want to achieve? Or perhaps you've set grand New Year's resolutions only to see them fizzle out by February. If so, you're not alone. Many of us struggle with the art of setting and achieving meaningful goals. But what if there was a way to turn your vague aspirations into concrete, achievable objectives? A method that could significantly increase your chances of success in both your personal and professional life. In this chapter, we'll explore a practice that's been a cornerstone of self-improvement for decades. It's a technique used by top performers across various fields, from business leaders to world-class athletes. But don't worry, this isn't about setting unrealistic targets or pushing yourself to burnout. Instead, we'll delve into the science-backed strategies that can help you set goals that are not only ambitious, but also attainable and truly motivating. At its core, this practice is about giving direction and purpose to your efforts. Think about it. When you have a clear destination in mind, you're much more likely to take the right steps to get there. It's the difference between saying, "I want to be more fit," and declaring, "I will run a 5K race in 3 months." The former is a vague wish. The latter is a concrete goal that you can plan for and work towards. But why does this matter so much? The answer lies in how our brains are wired. When we set a specific goal, it's like giving our mind a target to aim for. This focus directs our attention and energy towards activities that will help us reach that target and away from distractions or irrelevant tasks. It's a powerful way to channel the growth mindset we discussed in the previous chapter into tangible progress. Moreover, well-defined goals can be incredibly motivating. They give meaning to our daily tasks and help us push through when things get tough. When you know exactly what you're working towards, it's easier to find the motivation to keep going, even when faced with obstacles or setbacks. However, not all goals are created equal. We've all heard advice like "shoot for the moon" or "dream big." While ambition is important, these vague exhortations often do more harm than good. They can lead to setting unrealistic targets that ultimately discourage us when we inevitably fall short. So, what makes a goal effective? Research in psychology and organizational behavior has identified several key characteristics of goals that actually drive improvement and achievement. One of the most widely recognized frameworks for effective goal setting is the SMART criteria. This acronym stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Let's break this down. A specific goal clearly defines what you want to accomplish. Instead of, I want to read more, a specific goal might be, I will read 24 books this year. This specificity tells you exactly what you need to do, leaving no room for ambiguity. Measurable goals allow you to track your progress. In our reading example, you can easily count the number of books you've finished. This measurability creates clear feedback and accountability, helping you stay on track and motivated. The achievable aspect is crucial. Your goal should stretch you outside your comfort zone. After all, growth comes from challenge, but it shouldn't be so far out of reach that it becomes demoralizing. This is the concept of optimal challenge, finding that sweet spot where the goal is difficult enough to be exciting, but realistic enough to be attainable with effort. Relevance ensures that your goal aligns with your broader values and long-term objectives. If a goal doesn't matter to you personally, you're unlikely to stay motivated to achieve it. Ask yourself, why is this goal important to me? How does it fit into my larger life plans? Finally, time-bound goals have a clear deadline or time frame. This creates a sense of urgency and helps in planning. By the end of this year, or within the next 3 months, gives you a clear horizon to work towards. But why does this SMART framework work so well? The answer lies in decades of research on goal-setting theory, pioneered by psychologists Edwin Locke and Gary Latham. Their studies consistently showed that specific, challenging goals lead to higher performance compared to vague or easy goals. In one landmark study, they found that employees given the general instruction to do your best consistently underperformed compared to those given specific, difficult targets. The clarity of the goal directed efforts more effectively and motivated higher achievement. This finding has been replicated across various domains, from education to sports to business. The key seems to be that clear goals focus our attention and energize our efforts. They provide a concrete benchmark against which we can measure our progress, allowing us to adjust our strategies as needed. Another crucial aspect of effective goal setting is commitment. Research shows that writing down your goals or sharing them with others can significantly increase your likelihood of following through. This act of commitment, whether on paper or verbally, seems to engage both personal pride and social accountability, driving us to put in more effort. Interestingly, brain science adds another layer to our understanding of goal setting. When we set a goal and make progress towards it, our brain's reward centers activate, releasing dopamine. This neurochemical response not only feels good, but also encourages us to keep pursuing the goal. It's a built-in motivational system that goal setting taps into. However, it's not enough to just set a goal and hope for the best. The most effective goal setters pair their objectives with concrete action plans. This is where the concept of implementation intentions comes in, specific plans that outline when, where, and how you'll take action towards your goal. For instance, instead of just saying, I'll exercise more, an implementation intention might be, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 a.m., I'll go for a 30-minute run in the park near my house. This level of specificity makes it much more likely that you'll follow through. Research by psychologist Gabriele Udingen has shown that while positive visualization of goals can be motivating, it's most effective when combined with a realistic assessment of potential obstacles and a plan to overcome them. This balanced approach, which she calls mental contrasting, leads to more sustained effort and better outcomes than either pure optimism or pessimism. So, how can you put all this research into practice? Let's walk through a step-by-step process for setting effective goals. Start by brainstorming areas of your life where you want to see improvement. This could be in your career, relationships, health, personal development, or any other domain that matters to you. Write down your ideas without censoring yourself. At this stage, you're just exploring possibilities. Once you have a list, prioritize. Which goals are most important to you right now? Remember, Trying to pursue too many goals at once can dilute your efforts and lead to frustration. It's often more effective to focus on a few key objectives at a time. Now, take one of your priority areas and define a SMART goal for it. Let's say you want to improve your public speaking skills. A vague goal like become a better speaker won't cut it. Instead, you might set a goal like give a 10-minute presentation at the local Toastmasters Club by the end of next month and receive positive feedback from at least 3 audience members. This goal is specific, a 10-minute presentation, measurable, positive feedback from 3 people, achievable, assuming you have a month to prepare, relevant, if public speaking is important for your personal or professional growth, and time-bound, by the end of next month. Once you have your main goal, break it down into sub-goals or milestones. These serve as checkpoints along the way and can help maintain motivation by providing a sense of progress. For our public speaking goal, sub-goals might include 1. Research and choose a topic for the presentation within 1 week. 2. Create an outline of the speech by the end of week 2. 3. Practice the full speech at least 5 times in front of a mirror by week 3. 4. Deliver the speech to a friend or family member for feedback by the start of the final week. Next, identify specific action steps for each sub-goal. These are the concrete tasks you'll need to complete. For example, to research your topic, you might plan to spend 1 hour each evening for 3 days reading articles or watching videos related to your chosen subject. An often overlooked but crucial step is to anticipate potential obstacles and plan how you'll overcome them. What might get in the way of achieving your goal? For our public speaking example, an obstacle might be nervousness or lack of time to practice. Your plan could include learning relaxation techniques or scheduling specific practice times in your calendar. Finally, write down your goal along with its sub-goals and action steps and put it somewhere you'll see it often. This could be in a journal, on a note pinned to your desk, or as a reminder on your phone. The key is to keep your goal visible and top of mind. But setting the goal is just the beginning. To stay on track, you'll need to actively monitor your progress. This might involve keeping a log of your activities, checking off completed tasks, or tracking relevant metrics. For our public speaking goal, you might keep a record of your practice sessions and note improvements in your confidence or delivery over time. Regular review is also essential. Schedule time each week to assess your progress. Are you meeting your mini targets? Do you need to adjust your approach? This consistent check-in helps you stay accountable and allows you to make necessary tweaks to your strategy. It's important to remain flexible as you pursue your goals. Life is unpredictable, and circumstances can change. If you find that a goal has become genuinely unrealistic due to factors outside your control, it's okay to modify it. This isn't failure, it's smart adaptation. Conversely, if you're achieving your goals too easily, consider setting more challenging targets to continue growing. For some people, self-motivation can be challenging. If this is the case for you, consider finding an accountability partner or joining a group with similar goals. Sharing your progress and challenges with others can provide extra motivation and support. As you work towards your goals, don't forget to use the techniques we've discussed in previous chapters. Visualize yourself achieving your goal to stay inspired. Use positive affirmations to reinforce your commitment. Practice mindfulness to stay focused and manage stress, and always maintain a growth mindset, viewing challenges as opportunities to learn and improve. While setting and pursuing goals can be incredibly rewarding, it's important to be aware of common pitfalls. One frequent mistake is setting too many goals at once. This can lead to overwhelm and a lack of focus. It's generally more effective to concentrate on a few key priorities at a time. Another pitfall is setting goals that are too rigid or unrealistic. While ambition is good, extreme goals can be demoralizing and may even push you towards unhealthy or unethical behavior in an attempt to achieve them. Your goals should motivate you, not set you up for burnout or disappointment. Procrastination is another common challenge in goal pursuit. To combat this, use the time-bound aspect of your SMART goals to create urgency. Additionally, breaking tasks into very small, manageable steps can help overcome inertia. Sometimes, just getting started is the hardest part. It's also important to balance outcome goals, what you want to achieve, with process goals, what you'll do regularly to get there. While the outcome is important, focusing too much on the end result can be overwhelming. Process goals help you build the habits and skills necessary for long-term success. Finally, be cautious about tying your self-worth entirely to goal achievement. Remember, goals are tools for growth and direction, not judgments of your value as a person. If you miss a goal, treat it as a learning opportunity. Analyze what went wrong and how you can adjust your approach rather than using it as a reason for self-criticism. In conclusion, effective goal setting is a powerful way to turn your ambitions into actionable plans. By setting smart goals, breaking them down into manageable steps, and consistently reviewing your progress, you dramatically increase your chances of success. Goals provide direction, motivation, and a framework for growth. As we wrap up this chapter, I encourage you to take a moment right now to jot down one SMART goal you'd like to pursue. This simple act of commitment is your first step towards turning your aspirations into reality. But setting a goal is just the beginning. To truly achieve lasting change and success, we need to look at the daily actions and behaviors that will get us there. In our next chapter, we'll explore a fundamental aspect of personal development that turns your goals into consistent action. We'll delve into the power of small, repeated behaviors that can lead to significant transformations over time. Are you ready to discover how to build the routines and practices that will turn your goals into your lived reality? Let's find out how to make excellence a habit. Chapter 8, Habits. Have you ever wondered why some days seem to flow effortlessly, while others feel like an uphill battle? Why certain behaviors come naturally to you, requiring little thought or effort, while others demand constant willpower and motivation? The answer lies in a powerful force that shapes our daily lives, often without us even realizing it. This force is so subtle, yet so pervasive, that it influences nearly every aspect of our existence. It's the reason why you might automatically reach for your phone first thing in the morning, or why you always take the same route to work. It's what makes some people consistent gym goers, while others struggle to maintain an exercise routine. We're talking about habits, those small, often unconscious decisions and actions we perform regularly. These seemingly insignificant behaviors, repeated day after day, have the power to shape our lives in profound ways. As the saying goes, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. But what exactly are habits, and why do they hold such sway over our lives? At their core, habits are behaviors that have become so ingrained that we perform them almost automatically with little to no conscious thought. They're the brain's way of conserving energy and streamlining our daily activities. Think about it. How much mental effort does it take for you to brush your teeth in the morning? Probably very little. That's because it's a habit, a routine you've performed so many times that it's become second nature. Now imagine if every single action in your day required that level of conscious decision-making. You'd be mentally exhausted before lunchtime. This is why habits are so crucial in personal development. Big goals are achieved not through grand one-time efforts, but through consistent small actions performed day after day. If you rely solely on motivation or willpower to drive your actions, you're likely to falter when faced with obstacles or on days when you're just not feeling it. But when a behavior becomes a habit, it happens almost automatically, regardless of your mood or motivation level. The power of habits in shaping our lives cannot be overstated. They can be our best friends or our worst enemies in personal development, depending on whether they're aligned with our goals. Good habits can propel us toward success, while bad ones can hold us back or even lead us in the opposite direction of where we want to go. So how do habits form? Understanding this process is key to harnessing the power of habits for personal growth. Psychologists have identified a pattern called the habit loop, which consists of three elements: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue is the trigger that initiates the habit. It could be a time of day, a certain location, an emotional state, or the presence of particular people. The routine is the behavior itself, what you actually do when triggered by the cue. Finally, the reward is the benefit you get from performing the routine, which reinforces the habit. Let's look at a common example to illustrate this loop. Say you have a habit of checking your phone as soon as you wake up. The cue might be the sound of your alarm or the act of opening your eyes. The routine is reaching for your phone and scrolling through notifications or social media. The reward could be the dopamine hit you get from seeing new messages or likes on your posts. This loop, repeated daily, becomes ingrained in your neural pathways. Over time, the connection between the cue and the reward becomes so strong that you feel a nearly irresistible urge to perform the routine when the cue appears. The key to forming new habits or breaking old ones lies in understanding and manipulating this loop. By consciously choosing our cues and rewards, we can shape our routines to align with our goals. But how long does it take for a new behavior to become a habit? Popular wisdom often cites the 21-day rule, claiming that it takes just 3 weeks to form a new habit. However, scientific research paints a different picture. A study by Philippa Lally and her colleagues at University College London found that, on average, it takes about 66 days for a new behavior to become automatic. However, this can vary widely depending on the person and the complexity of the habit. Some habits might form in as little as 18 days, while others could take up to 254 days. This finding underscores an important point. Forming new habits requires patience and consistency. The process isn't always linear or quick, but with persistent effort, new behaviors can become as automatic as brushing your teeth. So, how can we apply this understanding of habit formation to create positive changes in our lives? Let's explore some science-backed strategies for building good habits. One of the most effective approaches is to start small, really small. This concept, popularized by B.J. Fogg's Tiny Habits method, involves beginning with a ridiculously easy version of the habit you want to form. For instance, if your goal is to exercise regularly, you might start with just 1 push-up a day. This may seem too easy to make a difference, but that's precisely the point. The goal is to make the habit so small that you have no excuse not to do it, even on your busiest or most unmotivated days. Starting small serves several purposes. It lowers the barrier to entry, making it easier to get started. It builds consistency, which is crucial for habit formation. And it allows you to experience small wins early on, boosting your confidence and motivation to continue. Once the tiny habit is established, you can gradually increase its scope or duration. That 1 push-up might become 5, then 10, and eventually evolve into a full workout routine. The key is to increase slowly, ensuring that each step remains manageable and doesn't break the consistency you've built. Another crucial strategy is to use a consistent cue for your new habit. Remember, habits are triggered by cues, so choosing a reliable, consistent trigger can significantly increase your chances of success. This cue could be time-based. At 7 a.m. every day, I will. Or tied to an existing routine. After I brush my teeth, I will. The power of consistent cues lies in their ability to create a strong association in your mind. When you always perform your new habit after a specific event or at a particular time, your brain starts to expect and even crave the new behavior when that cue appears. Rewarding yourself immediately after performing the habit is another effective strategy. While some habits have inherent rewards, like the endorphin rush after exercise, others might not provide immediate gratification. In these cases, adding a small, positive reward can help reinforce the habit loop. The key is to make the habit itself feel satisfying, which encourages repetition. Tracking your habit is another powerful tool. This could be as simple as marking an X on a calendar for each day you perform the habit, or using a dedicated habit tracking app. This creates a visual record of your progress, providing a sense of accomplishment and motivation to not break the chain. For some people, accountability can be a game changer in habit formation. Finding a friend or joining a group with similar habit goals can provide support, motivation, and a sense of shared commitment. Knowing that someone else is expecting you to follow through can be a powerful motivator on days when your personal resolve might waver. While building good habits is crucial, it's equally important to address bad habits that might be holding you back. The process of breaking a bad habit often involves more than just trying to stop the behavior. It requires understanding and disrupting the habit loop. The first step is to identify the cues that trigger your bad habit. Is it a particular time of day, a certain emotional state? Once you've identified the cue, you can work on either avoiding it, if possible, or changing your response to it. Simply trying to suppress a bad habit often doesn't work in the long term. Instead, it's more effective to replace the unwanted routine with a new, more positive one that provides a similar reward. For instance, if you have a habit of scrolling through social media when you're bored, cue, boredom, routine, phone scrolling, reward, mental stimulation, you might replace the scrolling with a quick stretching routine or a few pages of reading. Changing your environment can also be a powerful way to influence your habits. Our surroundings often contain cues that trigger our habits, both good and bad. By altering your environment to remove cues for bad habits and introduce cues for good ones, you can make positive behaviors easier and negative ones more difficult. It's important to remember that lapses are a normal part of the habit change process. Having a plan for getting back on track after a slip-up can prevent a momentary lapse from turning into a complete abandonment of your efforts. The key is to view lapses as learning opportunities rather than failures, and to resume your desired habit as quickly as possible. Patience and consistency are crucial when it comes to habit formation. Remember, it can take weeks or even months for a new behavior to become truly automatic. During this time, the new habit might feel forced or unnatural. This is normal and doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It's simply part of the process of rewiring your brain. In the early stages of habit formation, consistency is more important than intensity. It's better to perform a small version of your habit every day than to do an intense version sporadically. Consistency is what builds the neural pathways that make a behavior automatic. Celebrating small wins along the way can help maintain your motivation during this process. Acknowledge and reward yourself for sticking to your new habit, even if you haven't yet seen dramatic results. These celebrations reinforce the positive associations with your new habit. As you work on building new habits, consider the strategy of habit stacking, attaching a new habit to an existing one. For example, after I pour my morning coffee, I will write down 3 things I'm grateful for. By piggybacking on an already established habit, you leverage an existing cue and make it easier to remember and perform your new behavior. It's also wise to focus on 1 or 2 habits at a time, especially if they represent significant changes to your routine. Trying to overhaul your entire life overnight is a recipe for burnout and failure. Instead, prioritize the habits that will have the most impact on your goals and add new ones gradually as earlier ones become established. Life inevitably throws curveballs that can disrupt our routines. Having a minimum viable habit, a scaled-down version of your habit that you can perform even under challenging circumstances, can help maintain consistency when your normal routine is disrupted. This might mean doing a 5-minute workout when you can't get to the gym, or reading just 1 page when you don't have time for your usual reading session. In conclusion, habits are the engine of consistent self-improvement. By making beneficial actions nearly automatic, they remove the friction that often derails our progress towards our goals. The power to redesign your routines, and by extension your life, lies within your grasp. Small steps each day, thoughtfully linked to cues and rewards, can lead to significant changes over time. As we close this chapter, consider the habits you might want to cultivate in your own life. What small, consistent actions could move you closer to your goals? How might you design your environment and routines to support these new behaviors? But before we conclude our journey through critical thinking for personal development, there's one more concept to explore. It's a practice that many find transformative, a habit that can profoundly shift your perspective and overall well-being. In our final chapter, we'll delve into a simple yet powerful technique that has the potential to enhance every aspect of your life. Are you ready to discover the surprising benefits of this often overlooked practice? Let's turn the page and find out. Chapter 9, Gratitude. As we reach the final chapter of our journey through critical thinking for personal development, we arrive at a practice that might seem deceptively simple at first glance. It's a concept you've likely heard before, perhaps dismissed as overly sentimental or too basic to make a real difference. But as we've learned throughout this book, sometimes the most powerful tools for personal growth are hiding in plain sight, waiting for us to approach them with fresh eyes and a critical mind. This practice, at its core, is about acknowledging the good in our lives. It's about intentionally focusing on the positive elements, our achievements, relationships, and experiences that we might otherwise take for granted in the hustle and bustle of daily life. But it's more than just positive thinking or putting on rose-colored glasses. It's a strategic approach to shifting our mindset and, in turn, our entire experience of life. We're talking about gratitude. Not just the polite thank you we offer out of social obligation, but a deep, intentional practice of appreciation. In the realm of personal development, gratitude has emerged as a powerful tool for enhancing well-being, boosting resilience, and even improving physical health. But why? What makes this seemingly simple act so potent? To understand the power of gratitude, we need to first recognize a fundamental quirk of the human mind: our negativity bias. Our brains are wired to pay more attention to negative experiences than positive ones. This made sense from an evolutionary standpoint. Being hyper-aware of potential threats helped our ancestors survive. But in our modern world, this tendency can lead to an skewed perception of reality, where we're constantly fixated on what's going wrong rather than what's going right. Gratitude practice is essentially a conscious effort to rebalance this bias. By deliberately directing our attention to the positive aspects of our lives, we're training our minds to become more attuned to the good around us. It's not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. Rather, it's about ensuring that the positives in our lives get their fair share of attention. This shift in focus can have profound effects on our mental and emotional well-being. When we regularly acknowledge good things, we tend to experience more positive emotions like contentment, joy, and warmth. These positive feelings can help counterbalance negative emotions, leading to an overall improvement in mood. Moreover, gratitude can significantly impact our perspective, especially when facing challenges. For instance, if you're dealing with a setback at work but maintain a gratitude practice, you might still recognize that you have supportive colleagues, skills you've developed, or opportunities to learn from the experience. This broader perspective can make the setback feel more manageable and less all-encompassing. Interestingly, gratitude can also enhance our social connections. When we're grateful, we often recognize the contributions of others to our well-being. Expressing this appreciation can strengthen our relationships, which in turn provides more emotional support and reasons for gratitude, creating a positive cycle. But does science support these claims about gratitude, or is this just another feel-good technique without substance? Fortunately, a robust body of research in positive psychology has examined the effects of gratitude practices, and the results are compelling. One of the most influential studies in this field was conducted by psychologists Robert Emmons and Michael McCullough. They asked one group of participants to write down 5 things they were grateful for each week for 10 weeks. Another group wrote about daily hassles, and a third about neutral events. After the 10 weeks, the gratitude group reported feeling happier and more optimistic about their lives compared to the other groups. Remarkably, they even reported exercising more and having fewer health complaints, suggesting that the benefits of gratitude extend beyond just mental well-being. Other studies have found that a daily gratitude practice can improve sleep quality. Participants who spent a few minutes each evening writing down things they were grateful for reported falling asleep more quickly and feeling more refreshed in the morning. This makes sense when you consider that a mind at ease with positive thoughts is less likely to ruminate on worries at bedtime. Research has also explored the impact of expressing gratitude to others. In one study, participants wrote a letter of thanks to someone who had positively impacted their lives and, if possible, delivered it in person. The results were striking. Participants experienced a significant boost in happiness and a reduction in depressive symptoms, with effects sometimes lasting for a month or more after the exercise. Neuroscience adds another layer of understanding to these findings. Brain imaging studies have shown that feeling and expressing gratitude triggers activity in areas associated with reward processing, moral cognition, and empathy. This suggests that gratitude taps into fundamental neural circuits related to social bonding and positive emotions. It's worth noting that the benefits of gratitude seem to depend on sincerity. Simply going through the motions without genuinely feeling grateful has less effect. This underscores the importance of finding ways to practice gratitude that feel authentic and meaningful to you personally. So how can we incorporate gratitude into our daily lives in a way that's both practical and effective? Here are some strategies to consider. One of the most popular methods is keeping a gratitude journal. This involves setting aside a few minutes each day or week to write down things you're grateful for. These can be big things, like a major accomplishment at work, or small pleasures, like a moment of peace during a hectic day. The key is to be specific and to really pause and feel the gratitude as you write each item. You might also consider creating a gratitude ritual to start or end your day. In the morning, you could reflect on something you're looking forward to or thankful for, setting a positive tone for the day ahead. At night, you might review the day and identify things that went well, even on difficult days. This practice can help you end the day on a positive note and may even improve your sleep. For those who prefer more active practices, a gratitude walk can be a great option. During a walk, deliberately focus your thoughts on things you appreciate: your health, the beauty of your surroundings, the people in your life. The act of walking itself can help generate a reflective mood, making it easier to access feelings of gratitude. Don't underestimate the power of expressing gratitude directly to others. Make a conscious effort to say thank you more often and really mean it. Whether it's acknowledging a coworker's help or telling a family member how much you appreciate them, these small acts of recognition can significantly boost both your mood and your relationships. Visual reminders can also be helpful in cultivating a grateful mindset. You might keep a photo of something or someone you're grateful for in a place you see often, or set reminders on your phone that prompt you to take a moment for gratitude throughout the day. As you develop your gratitude practice, remember that authenticity is key. It's not about forcing yourself to feel grateful when you don't, or pretending that everything is perfect. Some days, finding things to be grateful for will be easier than others. On difficult days, it's okay to acknowledge basic things: having shelter, access to clean water, or simply being alive. The goal is to shift your perspective, even slightly, towards appreciation. It's also important to strike a balance. Being grateful doesn't mean becoming complacent or giving up on your goals. In fact, gratitude can provide a strong foundation for growth. When you appreciate what you have, you may find yourself more motivated to make the most of your opportunities and talents. As we conclude, not just this chapter, but our entire exploration of critical thinking for personal development, let's reflect on how gratitude ties together with the other concepts we've discussed throughout this book. Gratitude enhances the growth mindset we explored earlier. By acknowledging the progress you've made and the support you've received, you reinforce the belief that growth is possible. When facing setbacks, gratitude can remind you of past successes and the resources at your disposal, helping you maintain resilience. It complements the goal-setting strategies we discussed. While pursuing ambitious objectives, gratitude ensures you don't fall into the trap of only focusing on what you haven't yet achieved. By celebrating your progress and appreciating what's already good in your life, you maintain the motivation and positive outlook necessary for long-term success. Gratitude can become one of the powerful habits we learned about, a daily practice that over time reshapes your perspective and emotional baseline. And like other habits, it becomes easier and more automatic with consistent practice. Moreover, the mindfulness we cultivated earlier in the book enhances our ability to notice and appreciate the good in our lives. By being present and aware, we're more likely to catch those moments of beauty, kindness, or achievement that we might otherwise overlook. As we close this book, I encourage you to approach gratitude, and indeed all the strategies we've discussed, with the same critical thinking skills we've been honing throughout our journey. Question bold claims, seek evidence, and most importantly, test these ideas in your own life. See what works for you, adapt what doesn't, and always remain open to new insights and approaches. Remember, skepticism and optimism can go hand in hand. We can critically examine personal development concepts while still embracing those that prove valuable. By applying the lessons from each chapter, from focusing our minds and efforts wisely to visualizing success, affirming our capabilities, staying present, believing in growth, setting clear goals, building powerful habits, and now cultivating gratitude, you are equipped to create positive change in your life, actively and intelligently. Your journey of personal growth doesn't end with the closing of this book. In fact, it's just beginning. You now have a toolkit of evidence-based strategies to apply to your unique circumstances and aspirations. As you move forward, continue to question, explore, and refine your approach. Embrace the process of growth itself with all its challenges and triumphs. And perhaps, as a final exercise in gratitude, take a moment now to appreciate yourself. Recognize the effort you've put into reading this book, the openness you've shown to new ideas, and the commitment you've made to your personal development. This moment, right now, is the starting point of your next chapter, one that you'll write with greater clarity, purpose, and appreciation for the journey ahead. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of critical thinking for personal development. As you apply these strategies, you may find yourself facing new challenges in decision-making and problem-solving. But what if there was a way to further sharpen your critical thinking skills, allowing you to navigate life's complexities with even greater clarity and confidence? The journey of personal growth is ongoing, and mastering critical thinking is the key to unlocking your full potential. To take your transformation to the next level and truly make the most of the principles we've explored, I highly recommend diving into the audiobook Critical Thinking Mastery: Transform Your Mindset for Ultimate Personal Growth. Tap the center of the video now to continue your transformation journey.